Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on Bayverse of Madness, and in today's video I'm going to be finally giving you my review for Transformers Rise of the Beast. Now this video will contain spoilers, so that's your early warning, so if you haven't seen it yet don't watch this video, but if you have and want to hear my thoughts then sit back, relax and enjoy the video. Rise of the Beast has now swung into theatres and has done a great job in the worldwide box office so far, beating out Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, but the biggest question is the movie actually good? Well, let me tell you ladies and gentlemen, I have now been, as of recording this, 10 times now, and what an absolutely incredible film this is. An absolutely incredible film. So I'm going to actually try and keep this video as short as possible. Maybe I can make a separate video discussing the movie for longer, but for now I'm going to be splitting it into categories, so let's do this. So first of all, we're actually going to be talking about the opening scene, and that opening scene was absolutely crazy. We get the introduction of Unicron, and if you listen closely you can actually hear the music from his theme from the '86 movie, which was a nice touch. We start with Optimus Primal giving a speech about the MacGuffin in the movie, which will be the Transwarp Key, and then we get to see the main villain of the movie, which is Scourge, and let me tell you, he's an absolute machine, and one of the better live action villains, but we'll get into that. So first we see Ape-Link swinging through a jungle type setting, protecting the Transwarp Key, while an army of Scorponoks launched by Unicron try to get him. Optimus Primal comes in an epic entrance with that music blaring in the background to save him, and the Maximals get in a hurdle, and Ape-Link sacrifices himself to ensure the new leader of the Maximals, Optimus Primal, and the others can get the Transwarp Key away from Scourge and Unicron. And then we get Age of Extinction lockdown vibe entrance with Scourge through the jungle, walking like an absolute badass towards Ape-Link, with only his eyes and chest illuminated, which was absolutely insane. Scourge taunts Ape-Link, Ape-Link gets killed, and we see the Maximals get away. Unicron sends Scourge on a mission to track the Transwarp Key, and then Unicron eats the Maximal planet. Yeah, absolutely awesome opening. Now the music in this scene was crazy. The drop when Primal came in and rips off Scorponok's head was amazing. The scary music being played when Scourge walks through the jungle was yet again amazing. And even the music when Unicron eats the planet was amazing too. The only negative about this scene is the fact that Ape-Link is described as the planet's great warrior, but dies instantly. It would have been great to see him put up more of a fight, but I think this was to show how powerful Scourge was, and then we get to see him collect his insignia and glue them on him, which was absolutely badass. Benefits of serving the almighty Unicron. Now all in all, to describe the movie's plot in a way, they absolutely smashed it with this opening scene. Now we are going to talk about the human characters, and wow, they were all actually amazing. Reek, who is our lead human, Noah's best friend, was quite cool. Some of his comedy didn't land, but it was quite cool, and this scene when they attempt to steal Mirage was very well done too. Elena is next. She was amazing. She had a little arc in the movie where she wasn't really recognised in the museum where she works, and then she gets the recognition at the end when she finds the Maximal Temple, which was quite cool. All in all, Elena was a really cool character and was really smart with the things she did throughout the film. Her interactions and touching moments with Noah were also great too. Chris is next, who is the little brother of Noah, was just so good. He had so many good scenes. Now he suffers with sickle cell disease, and it's sad to see someone go through that, and the touching moments between him and his brother were just amazing. His interactions with Mirage were excellent too, and that ending scene with him telling Noah to keep going was just a perfect way to show the brotherly love between them two. It was just great. Finally, and the one I've been excited to talk about the most, is Noah. Now Noah is easily my favourite human character besides Sam. Noah was just so relatable in so many ways for me. The way he basically risked his whole life, his whole career, just to take care of his brother really touched me in ways I've never felt as I myself used to look after my brother when he sadly got in a really bad fire incident, so to see those interaction with him caring for his brother was just so amazing. It really reminded me of me. His participation throughout the film too was just perfect. He was always down to put his life for his friends. He grew a great relationship with Mirage and even Optimus Prime at the end. The relationship between Prime and Noah was done so amazing too, and there's a scene that captures it perfect where we are back and forth most of the movie with them both, but at the scene where they're stood at the edge of the cliff and they begin to understand each other was just so beautiful. I could talk about Noah all day. He was just an amazing character. Now let's talk about the Transformers themselves now. For 90% of the movie they were actually on screen, which is obviously incredible, so we'll start with the Autobots, starting with RC. Now she was great. She could do many great things such as analysing certain things like Noah and even the Transwarp key. She was awesome in battle and the way she fights. The scene in the final battle where she jumps off Rhinox to fight alongside Wheeljack was absolutely insane, and one that still gets me hyped 10 watches later. Liza Koshy did an absolutely amazing job with that character, and although her screen time was limited, I enjoyed what we saw of her. Now Wheeljack was one, I believe, apart from Rhinox and Cheetah, that we didn't really see much of, but he did steal the show in every scene he was in. Although his design has been controversial, he was so fun to watch in the movie. Stratosphere was so amazing too. Even though his screen time was limited, he actually plays kind of a big part in the movie, as he takes the Autobots to Peru and also takes care of Bumblebee when he dies and later helps him rejoin the final battle. Stratosphere was massive too, but a fun character to watch. Now Bumblebee, although not being present much in the film due to him being killed off, kicked absolute arse at the end. The way he jumps out that plane then spin kicks all those drones at the end. Hype. Just hype. I love the little mention of Charlie as well by Bumblebee at the early stages of the film, but all in all Bumblebee was so fun to watch at the end. Mirage was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. The way they did his character was phenomenal. Pete Davidson deserves so much credit because he did a phenomenal job as Mirage. Now at first I thought he was just going to be there to crack jokes and be like a bit of a comic relief. But what surprised me the most is how much heart Mirage actually has in the movie. The story between him and Noah and keeping his promise to protect him was so beautiful and gave that sense of care for the robots. The jokes he landed were obviously hilarious and he definitely stole the show every time he was on screen. Now lastly we are going to be talking about my favourite character and the leader of the Autobots himself, Optimus Prime. And what a phenomenal story arc he went on. He basically was Bay vs Prime throughout the movie and went on a similar journey to what he did in Age of Extinction, but was basically done in a better way. I just love how he hated humans kind of and Earth and only wanted to go home. And then he sees how Primal allied with them, and Primal gives Optimus those speeches were my favourite moments from the film. The way his arc ended too, when he was willing to sacrifice himself for the planet he really didn't care about in the beginning, was just amazing to watch. Now onto the Maximals. Now this is one negative of the movie, and that's the lack of screen time for the Maximals themselves. They were basically given Age of Extinction Dinobot treatment but done better. So Rhinox was a powerhouse and looked a bit like a knight from the last night, when he was in robot form anyway. But although his lack of screen time was disappointing, he kicked absolute arse in the battlefield, which was cool to see. Similar to Rhinox, Cheetah was yet again given less screen time. He was cool in the scenes he was in, and hopefully we see more of this character later on in the sequels. Now Airazor was amazing, and it actually surprised me how much she was actually in the movie for. I absolutely love that little offer and Primal had that actually led to her death, and it was cool to see like a new way of her death, where she was infected by Scourge and she asked Primal to kill her because no matter the cost, she wanted to protect her family and the Transwarp key. It was definitely a very touching moment between the two. Now finally, the leader of the Maximals himself, Optimus Primal. And wow, what an amazing return and redemption this was from Ron Perlman. He absolutely smashed it as Primal in this movie, and walking away, he actually was my new favourite character. I absolutely love how he completed the arc of Optimus Prime by being like a father to him and sharing his ways of a leader. I love how he was the caring leader and how you can see the sadness in his eyes, especially when he was fighting Ares. It was just absolutely phenomenal. Now, the Terrorcons were absolutely amazing villains. Now, starting off with Nightbird, she was menacing and had many cool abilities such as those katanas and the ability to fly. She was a great Terrorcon. Now, Battletrap was one of my favourite designs in a long time. He looked so cool and I loved how his arrogance got him killed in the end by Primal and Optimus Prime. He had many great scenes such as when he worked off as a team with Nightbird on the cliff. I loved it when he used his wrecking ball and his claw things in vehicle mode. He was a great addition to the movie and I just wish we saw more of him. Now lastly, the leader of the Terrorcons, Scourge, and wow, what a villain he was. He was so scary and menacing and actually makes me so excited to see if they can pull this off with Megatron in the sequels, just as scary as him. Now his interactions between him and Unicron were just amazing and frightening at the same time and gave Scourge that sense of urgency to find the transwarp key. His fights with Prime were great too, and all in all a great villain. Definitely up there with some of the better live action ones. Now the last character to talk about is the Chaos Bringer himself, Unicron. Now although his screen time was limited, it's absolutely insane to see how big of a threat he's setting up to be, as he's absolutely killed every scene he was in the movie, and was very scary, especially when he was torturing Scourge. Now we're going to talk about the action, and it was probably the best action we've seen in a Transformers movie. It was brilliantly choreographed and well shot. The ending battle especially was crazy, absolutely crazy. When All My Soul kicked in, oh my god, I was just going mental in the theatre. Just seeing all the characters have their moments and kick ass was just unreal. Now the music, wow. Jongnik Botemps, take a bow, because the music was just so epic. The theme for the Maximals was amazing, the theme for Scourge was amazing, and the collaboration with Steve Jablonsky to make Till All Are One and Humans and Autobots United brings me tears to the eyes every time. Now, with me being an absolutely massive fan of these movies, I never thought I'd hear that music again in the Transformers film, and that ending was just so beautiful and definitely put the icing on the cake for this movie. Hopefully Botemps can be involved in more projects in the future, and hopefully we can hear more of that Jablonsky music mixed in with it in the future. Now, before we talk about that controversial post-credit scene, I just want to say a massive well done to the director, Steven Caple Jr. What an absolutely amazing movie he created here, and definitely sits in my top 3 best Transformers movies. To add in everything we loved in the Bumblebee movie and the Bay films and then blend them together was done so well. I absolutely loved how he teamed up with Bay to create the action scenes, and it's amazing to see him want to take this franchise to the next level. Now let's talk about the ending that's got everyone talking, and that's the G.I. Joe crossover. And I am very in the middle about this. In my opinion, I feel like it's too soon to do a crossover, especially when the franchise is finally lifting off again. Maybe it could have been a spin-off movie, but to have it connected to this new timeline kinda sucks. I don't know, I'm pretty mixed about the future of this franchise, but I guess we'll have to see. Overall, this movie is one of my favourite movies ever, packed with so much heart and comedy, likeable characters and relatable human characters for me, and just an amazing amount of care put into this film. Leaves Rise of the Beast an absolute blast to watch. Thank you everyone for watching this review. Plenty of content is planned, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Let me know what you thought of Rise of the Beast in the comments down below, but for now, take care everyone.